all of these players, so interested to see what the priority is going to be. Diego going to hit the ban board first. T6. Was it going to ban away number of meta junglers that I think they could try and deny away? Jarvan, we saw a lot of action in the last game, so very interested to see that champion. What else do they want to go with? Will be entirely dependent on what they think is meta. The Barrage, mid lane, are going to get done away with. Draeganks actually a double lane flex, could go into mid lane, can go support. It's a pretty good poking support. So interested to see that one hit the ban. Top lane, T6 going to be denied that Jax. Pretty sensible, I think. Had pretty good performance on it, even despite not being able to win the last game. So just denying some of that safety. Draeganks going to be happy to be in the top lane. It's interesting to see what the priority in that top lane will be, given the number of top laners available. Garen going to hit the top lane ban as well. Garen, not a champion we see a lot of. This is obviously a comfort pick denial. The final ban is going to come out. So jungle and top lane hit there for the side of the blue side. Mid and top hit for red side. Do they want to deny away a possible ADC, or do they just want to continue to index and to the bans they've already gone? Lux going to hit the ban board as well. But is a mid lane denial away from LS. And a support denial away from Atlas. Final pick here for T6 on ban board. What is it going to be? They want to try and hit the jungle pool. Do they want to continue to ban another mid laner? A couple of mid laners that would be pretty good to just do away with. That way they don't have to worry about him being blinded. It is going to be the Darius away, so continuing to hit that top lane pool. Now, first pick here, I think it's going to be really important for them to try and lock in a solid either mid laner or a top laner. Unless they have a different priority to try and focus bot lane and leave that, maybe for the 2-3. But I think being able to lock in something for LS and then focus on getting Drake counterpick would be pretty useful. Let's see what they want to lock in, though. Again, obviously, locking in a jungler is always an option, but yeah, I think the right call to go ahead and lock in that Fiora, give him a decent top lane pick, go ahead and give him the opportunity to work with something there. Wukong, this is traditionally something we see going in the jungle right now, not something we see a lot of top lane, so I think it makes sense to hover this. And I fully expect that to go into the jungle, so interested to see what they want to pair with it. This opens up the Sejuani angle, which I think would be great, especially into the Fiora. You know, yes, she does have the riposte to kind of deny some of that CC, but between the Wukong and the potential Sejuani, it would be so much lockdown on top of that Fiora that it would basically debilitate that champion from being played in the top lane. It would nullify a lot of what she wants to do, and it would slow her side lane threat. So, but no, this is going to be the Janna pick up here, so this is something that we see whenever Lulu's not picked. Interesting to know that it was picked, given the fact that Yuumi and Lulu were still available. So this could be the Draven angle there as well, if PhoSure wants to try and break out that champion. It's not a champion we get to see a lot. Lee Sin going to be locked in there for TxAye, so going to be hopping around all the Rift, and they're going to lock in another fighter there. But they've got pretty good damage right now between all three of these picks. Lee Sin, again, the kick's going to be pretty good to set them up. Yone going to be very happy to be paired with Fiora as well, the damage that they're going to have. But they're going to need some front line. So leaving bot lane to 3-4, so they're not going to, or sorry, for 4-5, so they're not going to split those champions. So is this going to be the ADC lock-in, and then they can focus some of the bot lane bans here for the side of the blue team? But no, they are just going to lock in the mid laner. They're going to be willing to split the bot lane parents. This means they're going to need to draft a little bit more safety, maybe for a potential ADC. Obviously, they can still look to try and put something in that top lane, but now in the draft, this opens up the blue side to continue to try and hit that top lane pool a little bit more, as 3 top laners have already been hit: Darius, Garen, and Jax. Of course, this is assuming that Wukong doesn't go in the top lane, but I don't expect to see it there. I think the trades between Wu and Fiora would be pretty disastrous. So I expect that just to go in the jungle. Expect maybe something like a tank to go in that top lane for T6, as the number of fighters that he likes aren't necessarily going to be on the board right now. So Jar going to be picked there. Pantheon going to hit the ban board as well. So this signals that they want to continue to try and pinch that top lane pool. What other picks do they want to deny? Again, as they continue to try and pinch the bot lane pool a little bit there on the side of the red team. And final ban is going to be the Samira, so denying 2 of those ADCs. So this could be the Sivir that comes out. Obviously, Caitlyn is still available for that ranged ADC. Something that we don't see a lot of either, Tristana, but I think with the Janna, it does kind of signal to me the Draven angle just because of the strength that champion has. I don't expect something like a Lucian with Janna. It does make a lot of sense. The Ezreal would be interesting here. I don't know if this is necessarily the pairing that you want just because of the way that these champions play around different range, but that is going to be the lock-in for PhoSure. Just wants to draft some additional safety. Kai'Sa going to be the pickup there for noeN. or sorry, for Neon, I guess, as I've been told to call it, even though that's not what it spells. Neon going to be on Kai'Sa, and yeah, the Morgana locking going to be there, so safe bot lane. Now, top lane pick. What does T6 want here? They could go scaling tank. Ornn would be fantastic here, given the... Oh, okay, so this is going to be the Wukong top lane, so Nidalee going to be locked in there for Saucy. Okay, so this is interesting. I think... I'm not actually happy with it, and I'll explain why. The Wukong does not have fantastic trading into the Fiora. She's going to be able to riposte a lot of his damage. He's not going to be able to get really any kind of stun other than the Whirlwind on top of Fiora, in which Fiora is just going to constantly be able to trade that. And her sustain in lane is much better because she gets held naturally off of the feint and everything else like that. So she's a really, really strong pick into these engage junglers like Wukong. Or sorry, the engaged top laners like Wukong, which would much rather have seen the tank in that top lane just to kind of give them some additional late game scaling, give them some safety. I think Ornn would have been fantastic here in this draft, but he's going to go on the Wukong, so we'll have to see how he performs on that pick. This is a champion that has fantastic team fighting, so it's going to be worth a little bit more in the team fight situations, especially around objectives, but Fiora is going to be that constant split push threat, and paired with the Lee Sin and the Yone, I fully expect them to be able to land that damage and potentially knock down Wukong, so a lot of work for T6 to do in that matchup as the game kind of goes on. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and we are on to the Riv for the third matchup, the third tryout game of the Sam Houston State Esports Summer Fall League of Legends tryouts. We've had a number of good players on both of these games so far with some very interesting results from some of these tryouts. Good moments on both sides. Again, a couple of the players have had 2 games. Been interested to see is Nidalee Spear going to land. Oh! Yeah, TxAye going to be forced back. That's a quarter of his health gone in just one Nidalee Spear, and that's the power of that champion. You know, yes, you lack some of the engage, some of the CC options, but it does hurt to get hit by any of those abilities. As TxAye going to sidestep that one, doesn't want to take too many of those. And Mute is here, so just going to force TxAye off. And again, a lot of onus on this red side team. They want to make sure that they keep that Lee Sin in check at all times, especially once he reaches level 6. They're, with the lack of health on the side of that red squad, of course, there's a lack of health overall in this game, but just with the lack of tankiness on either of these teams, that Lee Sin is going to get a tremendous amount of value. So that means if you do get caught as the Ezreal, as the Ahri, maybe even as the Lee Sin, or as the Nidalee, it pretty much just means that you're going to die with the amount of damage that's been drafted in this comp. So I'm interested to see the skill expression that's going to come out in this game, because a lot of these champions require a large understanding of the kits in order to pull off correctly, and positioning these champions in the right spot to get the most out of them can be difficult, especially when you're looking at something like the Yone, the Fiora, the Lee Sin. A lot of expression that can come out for those champions, but high onus for failure as well. So going to be up to all the members on both of these teams to kind of show what they've got. And again, these tryouts have been very interesting to see what the future of Sam Houston Esports is going to be, because we talk a lot about making sure that, we're competitive at all levels, making sure that, that not only are we, giving everyone a chance to be part of a team and field multiple teams, but that we're also giving the best representation of those skill levels, regardless of what the rankings might be and what tournaments we're competing in. So I think it's always interesting to see, what people are willing to bring out and what their play styles are in a lot of these tryout matchups, especially since a lot of things actually do manage to go through. In terms of, some of their favorite picks. Now, that being said, it's not like they're getting freebies. Obviously, people are being denied some important champions. So, they're not just getting whatever they want, whenever they want. And I think that's a good environment to have, especially in any collegiate esport, where you're able to kind of curate these teams that are successful because they stay competitive with each other. And obviously, the more competitive these teams are, it means they're going to be able to scrim with each other. It means that they're going to be able to kind of take each other to the brink, and there'll be a lot of learning, especially with all the different champion pulls and play styles. So it's been really interesting to cast these games and to see how these players approach the game, and I think we can continue to expect more of that. As LS going to go ahead and jump in on top of Mute. Going to get charmed up, though. Going to get electrocuted. Fairly even trade there in the mid lane. SoSaucy going to jump forward, land the spear. But that's the flash already committed. LS going to commit another flash, and SoSaucy going to lick the first blood with the auto. Fantastic use of that champion. That's what we were talking about. Getting the most out of that Nidalee, and that spear's deadly on point. He's hit 2 so far this game, so he's 2 for 3 so far. And that damage just sticking, and that's going to hurt for LS too, having to blow that flash early. So that will just mean a repeat gank, even though SoSaucy had to blow his flash. Mute will still have his, has access to the ignite. Tornado going to hit on top of Atlas. Going to trade quite a bit for sure. Going to continue to trade noeN, or sorry, Neon, getting traded even lower, low health bars beside of the blue side ADC and the support. So they will be trapped underneath this turret for the foreseeable future. Great trade, great understanding of how the kit worked there on the Ezreal to go ahead and get those empowered autos and the Qs on top of the Ezreal. And yeah, I fully expect SoSaucy to go ahead and hit that mid lane again, especially knowing that LS's flash is down, so this should just mean that the continue mounting pressure in that mid lane's electrocute gonna land again. What the response for the tech? I wonder what the response for TxAye is going to be throughout the map, because right now Lee Sin doesn't necessarily have the easiest access to the lanes. Is going to struggle to try and find some of that priority with Nidalee just kind of being all over the map. Does have a small CS lead right now, so is a little bit on tempo. But SoSaucy is here already, knows that there's no summoners available for that bot lane outside of the heal and flash. neoN does still have it, but will be difficult for him to use it to get away from the spears. And yeah, so that is going to be the full bot side reset. Wave's going to shove into the turret. So PhoSure and Frelain going to make sure that they get that in. Is it trading on top of the clone? Was it momentarily faked out by it? And that's the kind of the trading pattern that T6 is going to have on that champion, is just trying to find some of these individual moments where he can trade. Is Charm going to be effectively immune with the jump back on Yone? Stretching Spirit, pretty nice ability. Now, outside of early kill, though, trading in lane has gone, I think, fairly even for all three lanes, even kind of despite the pressure that Saucy's has been and will continue to try and apply, as a bunch of these minions are going to get denied underneath this bot lane turret. neoN just trying to clear these out, trying to find something he can do here. TxAye waiting in the wings to try and see if there's something he can find there, but full summoners available for that bot lane means there should be nothing doing. LS continue trying to make the most of the time that he has to continue to shove the waves underneath Mute's turret and make sure that he can get some opportunities to roam, especially once he reaches level 6, which he'll do here in about the next minute and a half, once he continues to get the remainder of those minions farming in. Mute should just go ahead and look for the reset. We'll come back out. Only has Doran's Ring right now. We'll have the stopwatch available later, so that's going to be an item to track, especially its usage in some of the early team fights. You know, if Mute can look to dive just a little bit farther in and kind of immune some of the damage, some of the CC abilities, and then kind of re-engage once the Golden Stasis drops off, so we'll have to track the usage of that item. Pretty big wave building in that top lane for Dre. He's going to be able to deny the majority of this farm underneath the turret. T6 is just going to have to try and collect the XP and gold where he can. It is a cannon minion, though, so that means that he can just get some of the lower health range and caster minions. But will still kind of lose out there quite a bit on the gold. No teleport for Mute, so he had to walk all the way back to lane, so that's where you're going to see him continue to lose some of that farm. Now, responses here for the blue side, once TxAye really gets to level 5 and is on that borderline 6, they can look to kind of contest for some of these neutral objectives. Right now, the priority is going to swing back towards the red side once they shove this wave out underneath the turret, especially now that the resets are coming through. So this should just be the early Drake start. SoSaucy with level 4 does have help there from Mute, so they could just do it. It's going to continue to clear out the vision. So fully expect the bot wave to shove out and then possibly look to start the Drake. If they choose not to, then that signals to me that they're just going to commit to do another clear in the top side. Go ahead and get red buff, get the next round of Krugs and Raptors, and then try and find something there. T6 wants to jump in on top of Dre, has access to the second part of the ultimate. Flash is in and now going to be summonerless, but it is traded. Dre forced to get out of there, wasn't able to use the Ignite to buy a little bit of time, didn't necessarily have the ability to land the ultimate, got chunked out too far, so no response there. And Mute just continuing to play around, is going to land the charm, and now SoSaucy placing the trap. Going to get hit by there, dodges the spear though, doesn't have the flash to use, but didn't need it in the end. So is just going to manage to get the ultimate out of Mute. Will back underneath the turn after he clears the next wave. Now, that being said, because LS got chunked out so low, this should just mean that the Draga is going to go the side of the red team. As TxAye getting contested on his own red buff right here, tries to get away, flashes out, safeguards over to LS, and now we'll just go ahead and get out. Lands the E, but not going to be able to take that in. And so yeah, this should, I think, just any second now be the Dragon start here for the red side. They have so much prio. They blew flashes on TxAye, so he doesn't really have a way into the pit unless he gets a ward. LS is not going to have priority in this lane. Does have access to the Fate Unsealed, but would be really, really difficult to trade into that Ahri right now. Again, though, SoSaucy just not starting this Dragon. I'm not sure really what they're waiting for. They have the opportunity to do this. Bot lane has prio. I mean, they really want to try and knock LS down. They're going to get the flash out again. Ignite's going to go... Or sorry, Ignite's not going to be used. Sorry, that was the... Electrocute. So Electrocute going to force him out, and now they should be starting this. This is the best opportunity that they're going to have to do it for free and to get on top of the Herald timing as well if they want to try and do both objectives. As Atlas going to land the Q. neoN going to have the spell sheet right now, wants to try and trade on it PhoSure, but is going to get exhausted. Was spell immune though, so that summoner just kind of goes into the dirt, and now PhoSure, this should just signal his opportunity to go ahead and shove in that wave and boogie on out of there. Again, T6 continue to be obnoxious, continuing to trade on a Dre who's just not really able to get on top of the Wukong. Every time it feels like he can get that riposte and try and fade back. TxAye just manages to outwin the trade. Yes, does have a CS disadvantage right now, but pressure-wise, you're happy that Fiora is not necessarily getting any early kills. You're happy, which is kind of where the way the lane is going. You're not there to win the lane necessarily. You're just there to kind of buy time and apply pressure. As Parry going to deny any kind of extra damage there. Is going to be dashing out of there, though. Atlas going to miss the Q. Frelain has level 6. And they should just be the prio for the red side bot lane right now. There's really not a whole lot that noeN and Atlas can do with that right now, just because of the way that the lane is. And TxAye is going to go ahead and land the ultimate. Drae not really able to shine right now because it's going to be the flash forward. Ignite going to go down. Drae, one more auto would do it, and it does in fact go down. And now Drae at the receiving end of getting killed there. Again, the Sheen proc just so deadly on that Wukong with the early trades. So it is kind of answering some of the early conditions that we had about him being relevant in this lane. PhoSure wants to try and knock down Atlas, but he is being autoed by noeN. It's going to be the ultimate coming out there, and now they have to try and run because noeN doesn't have access to any more of the helpful summoners, only has access to the flash. Exhaust on Atlas would not be enough to buy them enough time to live, I think. So TxAye going to land the Q there, but it wouldn't be underneath the turret. Does have access to the kick, but not going to be enough to buy time there. Is PhoSure going to jump forward, going to eat some tower aggro, going to blow the heal on noeN. Going to be able to trade this if in the end. No, is it the auto from Frelain enough to get the double kill? Dies to the minions, but it's going to be a consolation prize. As Ezreal going to be more than happy to walk away with that charm. Going to land on top of LS. Mute has access to both the flash and the ignite. TxAye waiting in the wings. Does he want to try and go in? Is going to land the Q on top of the cannon, but we'll just walk out. Just good trades by the red team so far. They've just been so on top of this consistently. They've been winning out on these bot lane trades, and yes, the gold ends up going back, ends up getting reset on the side of PhoSure, and so obviously we'll be the recipient of that. As LS is one spear and a charm away from dead if Saucy decides he wants to hop that wall. They don't know that he's here. As LS is going to jump in, and yeah, this should just be the spear coming out. Just barely manages to miss in the end, but we'll have to retreat underneath the turret. So that gives the information that they know that Saucy's there. Ping's coming down. Is going to walk nearly on top of the Lee Sin. Chooses to jump in. Has access to the kick. Flash out from Saucy, respecting the fact that the Lee Sin had access to that summoner, or sorry, access to that ability. Doesn't want to get caught up right now. Mute needs to find his way on out of here. He's getting ganked on 3 angles right now. No, noeN is here. Flash into the charm. But the E there should, or sorry, the Q should be enough there. As Fate Unsealed going to land on top of Saucy. And that's going to be 1-for-1 trade there, though. TxAye going to try and walk his way out of here. Forced to kick TxAye out. And Atlas, again, trying to just pester TxAye, make sure that there's no follow-up underneath the tower. So, a 1-for-2 trade in the end. Just some of that gold going back into the pocket and kind of closing in on that difference. So, only about a 800 gold difference there now between the two teams. So, and the majority of that gold lead right now, it is in the hands of that Wukong. It's, between them and the jungler. So most of that is in that topside investment, which if your TxAye feels pretty good, especially given the fact that, on paper you're not really supposed to beat if you're in that matchup. But I think Drae just getting a little overzealous in some of those trades, just wasn't respecting the fact that Wukong had the Sheen and was going to win out some of those early trades, and kind of needs that first really heavy duelist item in order to make sure that he actually wins the trades. And of course now the reset timers, though, means that red side is going to have access to that Herald. Atlas forced to blow a flash. They talk about this a lot on professional broadcasts, but the death timer actually is kind of a nice reset if you want to get on top of an objective just because of the timing of it. TxAye going to eat a spear to the face. TxAye has access to the ultimate, has access to the flash. TxAye, you are not necessarily safe underneath this turret. Going to land the ultimate. He's going to go down. Drae wants to try and trade into something, though. Can he get it? TxAye going to be slowed up. Has access to the second part of the ultimate, has access to the flash. Jump forward. Ultimate not committed yet. Nice, should just be enough to get a shutdown going over Draeganks, but he may find himself in quite a bit of trouble. Martial Challenge going to land on top of Saucy, but it's not enough. As though Nidalee going to pick up that kill, and Drae pays with his life. 2 kills on that top side, and meanwhile in the bot lane, PhoSure and Frelain just continuing to pick up all this gold, continuing to make the most of it. They have been so impressive in this bot lane. It is a significant CS lead for PhoSure. He might just outright kill Atlas. He's also going to come down just enough to buy a little bit of time. Stun going to land at the end. Ultimate comes out. noeN going to drop it. It's another double kill for PhoSure. He absolutely cannot miss on this Ezreal. He's just continued to dominate this bot lane matchup. Had just enough help. Flash out from Mute to try and land the charm onto LS. Not going to get it, though. It's going to snap back, and Saucy has a chance to land another spear. Doesn't manage to do it, so they need to drop this Herald if they want to try to make the most of this plate gold. They need to drop it at 1345 if they want to have any chance of collecting any more of it. Is going to try and come down in this bot lane. That's not the usage of this Herald. If they drop that, it's going to be a tragedy. Yeah, that's the wrong call. They should have just dropped it mid lane. They had the opportunity to get plates there. Not sure why they wasted it there. They're not even going to be able to get TxAye off of this one. Yes, you're going to pick up the turret, but to what end? You had plates in the mid lane. This is, I think, not necessarily a small call or a smart call. I would probably be questioning that. You know, the teams, I wonder what the discussion there is in the team comms is TxAye just going to kick Saucy underneath the turret. So yeah, questionable Herald placement, and then is going to die for the sin of trying to go too far. And TxAye didn't have vision, is going to smite that down, so they won't get the second charge. And yeah, I think that's just a waste of the Herald. I think that was just a bad call. You had plates in the mid lane. You could have very easily placed it. Could have gotten all that money onto Mute. You even split it between Saucy if you wanted to, if he was too far away, as long as he got away from it. And you know, LS is going to be happy to have that healthy turret in the mid lane. Yes, you do get the bot lane turret, but you could have had a significant amount of gold on that mid lane carry. So I think questionable call there is TxAye going to use the smite to secure the red buff. Was getting harassed by PhoSure, but we'll end up walking away with that objective. Now, Frelain and PhoSure here, Nidalee on the way. Low health bars for both TxAye and for Atlas, so I just don't imagine they'll want to try and contest for this Drake, even though they've already lost 2 objectives. It's not a huge deal, 2 dragons. They would be obligated to contest for the 3rd one, just because then you put yourself in a precarious situation of trying to come back from a massive dragon stacking lead. But, I mean, giving up 2 is not a huge deal. I think it kind of hurts more that they lost the Herald as well, but the consolation is that the Herald was used on the bot lane turret for seemingly no reason, so it's not like they lost too much gold. It is just a stand and shoot battle, and PhoSure kind of wins those just because they trade on the plasma stacks. Neon now trying to find his way out of here, has access to the heal. Once he wants to do is, can he find a trade on a PhoSure? Though not going to be able to, no. Yeah, the Essence Reaver on top of the Ezreal going to prevent any kind of trading there. And with the bot laner down, that signals the go-ahead for the Dragon, or at least it should. Kick going to miss on top of PhoSure. And this Lee Sin, 2-1-1, but not quite finding the targets that it needs right now. And it should just be the Dragon started up. It's going to be trap around on for T6. There's no turret here, so this is going to be the long chase. T6 can just walk over the wall and get on top of Atlas at least. He's going to stop TxAye from going in. That's going to be the first one. Has access to the second part of the ultimate. TxAye, again, just trying to find his way underneath the turret. Just doesn't want to drop to this Lee Sin. Jumps back in, though, just to dissuade T6 from trying to follow him any further. LS is here. Fate Unsealed available. T6 manages to sidestep it, though, and that's not where they want to go. Dragon gonna go over. Now LS has to find his way out. True Shot Barrage. Gonna knock him down. And now PhoSure 6-1-0 on the Ezreal. Feeling pretty good. Knocks down the mid laner. And Mute, he's more than happy. Go ahead, Lee Sin. Take that Q, he says. I'll be more than happy to charm you straight to your death. And yeah, this red side team continue to be obnoxious. T6 may have gone a little too far now. This could be the follow-up. On top of the Lee Sin, they knock him down and collect some of that gold. But that is just a consolation prize. They're down 2 dragons. Gray forced to hop over the wall. PhoSure going to chase him down, though, and he really doesn't have a way to get away from this Ezreal. This should just be the Q pickup there, and yeah, unstoppable on the Ezreal. 7-1, already stacking up that tier. We'll be able to buy the 2nd tier boots as soon as they shove out this mid wave. And even despite the blunder with a Herald and a couple of given over kills, the red side team is still very much in control of this game. Early dragon stacking, again, going to feel really good. The next dragon's going to be an Infernal Dragon, so this is going to be pretty good for the damage amplification there on Ezreal and on the Nidalee. Those spears and those Qs will continue to hit all the harder. So it makes long team fights really, really difficult for the blue side team to take because they're not going to have any innate healing. Again, they have a Morgana, so it's not this kind of Yuumi or Lulu that we see a lot where it's a lot of heals and shields and additional sustain. It's not something like a Seraphine. They're going to continue to be squishy, and if they lose some of the early poking trades, it would be very difficult for them to kind of recover. They would be forced to back in every situation. So, again, red team, all they need to do is continue to apply the pressure. Now, for blue team, as bad as kind of the early game has gone for them, and obviously they've not gotten the trades they wanted, and they've lost a turret in the bot lane, but that is only the one turret. They haven't lost anything mid, still fairly healthy. Tier 2 does mean that they'll have a long lane to play with, which they can send someone to farm. Obviously, Dre will continue to scale. Will eventually start becoming the side lane threat as he eventually starts winning some of these trades, jumping in on top of T6, just damaging the clone. Is LS, you get poked there. And the recall going to get stopped for Atlas? That's a little rude. Mute. Say, nah, you're bad. You're greedy, Wukong. I think I should punish that. But for the blue team, I mean, if you can continue to try and buy time for the Yone and for the Fiora to come online, you're going to have opportunities to win some of these fights, especially on the squishier members. You know, Janna does offer some safety with the Monsoon, as T6 is going to jump over the wall. This is a fight, but T6 has the user ability to give it a wall kick. Going to come down already, and now what else can they get? He's going to have second access to the ultimate. Mute going to jump over and grab that one. Lee Sin the first to fall right now. There will be no killer instinct committed there by Neon, so we'll just knock away. Acknowledges that his ADC Or sorry, his jungler has died and will not join the party. To get rid of the pesky Wukong club. Is oh, saucy, those spears. Yeah, the sad bee emote, yeah, it always feels terrible to get hit by those. But what I was going to say before TxAye did me the disservice of dying was that you have opportunities to win this game the longer it goes. Obviously, Fiora's going to reach a point where she's going to be able to duel any one person there on the side of the red team, so long as Ezreal is not poking her too far. I mean, Fate Unsealed on the Yone is going to continue to be a fantastic ability to set up team fights, but it is just, they're so kind of precedent on them getting the setup that they need in these team fights and being the first to the objectives, because it does feel like if you're trying to walk into this red side comp, if you're trying to walk into Ezreal, if you're trying to walk into Ahri and into the Nidalee Spears, you're going to really struggle to sustain and stay alive over the long course. And you know, the red side team, they're happy to just play the poke game, happy to sit back and hit you over the wall with skill shots and make you kind of pay for sticking around too long. As ping's coming down on the second Herald. Red side, they really don't want to give this up if they can avoid it, I think, just because they're in such firm control of the game right now. They don't want to give over any potential objective. Atlas going to drop down. Frelain popping the Shirelli is there and is going to get knocked down by the true shot barrage. PhoSure is dominating in this game, and they're not done yet. They want to continue to chase underneath the turrets. T6 just waiting in the wings, daring anybody to go too far in that jungle, and this should just be... nope, it's not even going to be the Herald take, as it is going to time out. So, yes, the giver of a kill, but at least that second objective doesn't go down. That being said, Dragon in 50 seconds. You have to think that this mid lane turret's probably just going to go ahead and fall. They have the damage knock this down. Low health bars on Dre means no contest, so this objective should be falling. This should be the reset after they shove the wave into the bot lane. Killer Instinct committed there for the side of neoN, and it is going to be enough to get it down. That's the mid laner down for the side of the red team. That could be what they need. That could be the opportunity that they need to try and contest for this Dragon. Wave was shoved underneath turret. neoN's going to go ahead and try and back. Knows that there are going to be multiple members coming for him, so needs to get the hell out of dodge. But an opportunity there to set up on the Dragon and potentially contest for this objective. They can get in. PhoSure jumping out as TxAye took the EN. And now T6 on the backline, though. They don't want to let this go. They want to make sure that there's no contest on the side of this Dragon. Fate Unsealed comes out way too late. It was input buffered onto nothing. Dre now trying to get out of this one. Monsoon just going to buy a little bit of space. And TxAye trying to jump back in, trying to get the kick on anybody. But Shirelius makes sure that that's not possible. PhoSure is godlike in this game. 9-1-1, double items, and now this will just be the Dragon take. They're even diving underneath the inhibitor turret. neoN is not safe there. He's going to try and just ring it around the rosy, but they're going to cut the wave. They're going to make sure that there's nothing that he can do to survive this. PhoSure just going to continue to land the Qs. And what? I mean, can neoN even get away from this now? They're going to try and walk this out. Is T6 going to try and take some of the turret aggro? PhoSure has he able to get over? Draeganks has respawned now, but will just get chunked out to a quarter of his health. And Dragon already started up for the side of the red team. Draeganks just trying to track where these two guys are going, but there's really nothing that he can do to trade back. And this red side have been so proactive. PhoSure has just been so deadly on this Ezreal. Phenomenal performance thus far. Just been able to outduel both of the bot laners. Been everywhere he needs to be. As Draeganks jumps face first into a charm, gets rooted by the Everfrost, and yeah, Mute is just going to walk his way out of this thing. See ya, buddy. I've taken back your health, taken half your health, and you will now have to walk away. The other thing I want to highlight real quickly, because credit where credit's due, the majority of the time when you see Ezreal True Shot barrages, they're almost always terrible. But credit to PhoSure, he has landed a bunch of really, really good True Shot barrages, and he has come up with a kill, I think, every time he has hit them. Which is a stunning stat, because the majority of the time, they don't kill anybody. But, I mean, this is, you know, par for the course right now with the squishy comp that the red side team has. Oh, neoN. Flash has access to the heal. Can he get away? He's just trying to trade. Flash out. T6 more than happy to just walk away with that summer. Draeganks is going to go ahead and collect that top lane turret and the bonus gold there on the objective. I would rather have seen TxAye not go up there and try and take that from Dre. That probably should have been just solo turret gold on Dre. He didn't necessarily need help to take that, as, yep, LS is going to get charmed, is going to miss the route, but now PhoSure is here, so they should just mean they're going to chase down the kill. Flash out, trying to survive with the shielding from the Immortal Shield Bow, and just manages to do so. Walks away with his life, but they give up a lot of pressure in the bot lane and the mid lane, so this will just mean that this bot lane turret is going to fall. That means that they're just going to continue to get shoved back into their base, and a pretty significant gold lead here for the side of the red side team. About 7k. We'll just continue to be shoved in. 23 minutes. Baron is available. Next Dragon will be in about 3.5 minutes, so again, red side can continue to play this slow. The blue team, they really just need to try and find a way to slow this game down, get gold onto their carries, give opportunities for them to get themselves in this fight. Look for picks. I don't think they necessarily outright win the team fight unless you get significant engages from either TxAye or from LS on that Fate Unsealed, but they will have opportunities here if they can catch some of these roaming members. I think I would like to see them try and make a play onto T6 and punish this Wukong for the split pushing. I think it is possible if you roam up enough members, if you commit 3 people to try and knock him down, especially if you can layer the CC. If you can land Fate Unsealed and follow up with neoN and with TxAye to land the kick, I think those 3 members are capable of taking him down, but it's going to take everything that they have to do it. They're going to have to commit all the ultimates. They're going to have to commit several summoner spells in order to do it. So again, just increase the difficulty as the game goes on for the red side team if they're not proactive in making sure that they continue to snowball this gold lead. And right now, obviously, the gold lead's still debatable there for the side of the red team.
So, shut up.
What do they want to do here? LS going to get poked out with the spear. Does have access to Fate Unsealed, but it's going to be Charm on top of TxAye. He's going to be the first to drop surely. Jump back in, and the gold goes on to Atlas, but that's just going to be the fear going down on top of it. Mute going to pick up another kill there, and that's 3 dead down on the side of the red team, and now this should just be the Baron going over towards the red team. They can even continue to siege on multiple objectives. 2 minutes available on the Infernal Soul, and they should just be the Baron start here. PhoSure and T6, they're going to continue to run it down in the mid lane. This will be the Baron pick up there, and yeah, just an overextension. Not enough members in the right spots. A couple people getting picked. LS didn't necessarily have time to get the Fate Unsealed onto multiple members, was charmed up, and TxAye just walked headfirst into that Ahri ability, and that's not what you want for those. Now, Draeganks fancies himself a contest here, but with Ezreal being here, there shouldn't be any chance for him to do anything. neoN, if he takes that Killer Instinct in, it would just be a one-way trip, and yeah, Dre, they said, yeah, we're live to fight another day. We know we can't contest on this Baron. We know there's nothing that we can do, so we're just going to let this objective gold. Yes, we miss out on any potential bounty, but we're just going to continue to try and buy time. Our base hasn't necessarily been cracked too heavily yet. They only have possessed 1 outer turret. Is Draeganks, he decided to go back in. Wait, didn't complete the recall. He's going to get exhausted. PhoSure's going to knock him down. Yeah, and that's the ultimate committed, and now they're trying to trade something. Can they just at least get this Wukong? If they could get that, they would feel better. But he's going to flash out. Fate Unseal's going to miss. neoN's going to get chunked from below half. True shot barrage that missed and actually didn't kill anybody that time. First one of the game, and now TxAye, he's going to get caught off. Low health bars and no access to any of the really important ultimates here for the side of the blue team. This should just be them going down, and now the kick through T6 even closer. Now LS, he should be the next one going down. Doesn't have access to the flash blast going over, but that doesn't save you from the Ezreal. It's another double kill for the red side by ADC. Yeah, and this just should be the end of the game. They're going to have the super minions coming through here in just a second as they begin to knock these towers down. Wouldn't be surprised to see the surrender come down. But there's just nothing they could do. So much time left on this Baron buff. It was just a commit across the map, trying to get something. Drake got caught out in that top lane brush. 2 members there, enough to knock him down. And they said, well, okay, well, at least maybe we can knock down T6 in that bottom river. Maybe we could try and trade for this Wukong, but just weren't able to do it. Had all the escape tools he needed. Now this should just be the final turrets going down. neoN going to get chunked from below half. Atlas trying to buy time, trying to get in there. Draeganks trying to do something, trying to get the grand challenge on top of T6, but they're not even going to be able to. Mute, he's going to follow up on top of them. TxAye just wants to try and dissuade the members to get off, but there's not enough people to put out all these fires, and yeah, the base is going to drop. And the red team, for the 3rd time today, is going to win the game.